always been fascinated by occult phenomena. So far, I have been exposed to, my exposure has been left me baffled, but totally unconvinced. My first exposure was within a few minutes, few months of my posting to Ahmednagar long back in 1983. There, I was introduced to a couple, Dr. Mr. Shastri and Mrs. Shastri, by a common friend who claimed to be able to communicate with spirits. And the moment I heard this, my curiosity, all my jigyasa to know about this science or meeting a person who's been talking to dead men was rekindled. So he fixed up an appointment, and one day we sat with Dr. and Mrs. Shastri. He showed me the photographs of himself and his wife with another lady standing just behind them. The lady, he said, was his first wife, who had died some years before the photograph was taken. The photographer's attestation bearing a date certified that he had taken the photograph of only Doctor and the second Mrs. Shastri. But when he developed the photograph, it was when he developed it, he found that the first Mrs. Shastri had mysteriously appeared on the negative. The Shastris took me to many cines. At each of them, the modus operandi, the method was that, which I had seen this kind of, I heard about this method in my villages also, and many other people who are from rural background, they will affirm to this pattern, that the medium, at each of them, a medium went into a trance and delivered messages from dead people. The one thing that baffled me was the way the voice of the medium suddenly changed as he or she went into a trance. The messages were usually a lot of gibberish, or gibberish you may call it, but the ventriloquism was most impressive in every case. Now I was baffled, I said, certainly unconvinced, but certainly was gagged what to comment, you see. This, my second exposure to the occult sciences happened when I was posted in, after 10 years or so, in a place called Hisar. So I had a security guard from armed forces. Most of the troops from the in the army, they are from rural background, so they have this kind of enough of stories with them. So now this friend of mine, the security guard, Sitaram, a UP Jat, gave me some tapes of pravachans and sermons by a man he held in a great reverence. Now Sitaram from Bravo Squadron, he belonged to a class of Indians who were firmly convinced that all the development in science, ranging from faster than sound aircrafts, rocketry, hydrogen bombs, nuclear bombs, etc., etc., whatever the modern things you can think of, all these modern miracles, inventions, this says their ancestors were known to their Hindu ancestors. Now his guru's pronouncements confirmed his convictions. So I had a lot of time to myself, so I heard the tapes in my spare time. So they were in highfalutin Hindi, which I could barely comprehend, but certainly understand the idea and the message what he was talking. I dismissed them as an aberration and did not realize how large a following his Guruji had. Therefore, I must share about the Guruji to all my friends and audiences. This Guruji, named Brahmachari Krishna Datta, that time he must be about 45 or 46, was from the village Khurrampur, Salimabad, not far from Muradnagar in Meerut district. His father was a poor weaver, and Datta apparently never went to the school. According to his mother, he started talking in strange tongues from the times he was just 2 years old, and that baffled everybody, even scared some of them. The parents regarded him as a wastrel and often chastised him. At the age of 15, he ran away from home and settled down with a distant relative in another village. And in his new place, he was taken seriously by the people. There's some divine shadow on this child who could speak such languages which nobody could understand. And suddenly one fine day, a branch of Arya Samaj people, they came to that village for their pravachan or some preaching from Delhi. When they heard, they brought this young boy to the capital. And then since then he stayed with them and delivering pravachans in many parts of the city and developed large audiences. Now, his pattern remained the same. What Mr. Shastri was doing, as I told you, in Maharashtra, exactly the same. He lies down on Charpai, goes into a trance, his head turns violently from one side to the another, that he speaks, and in the hour or so he talks. His voice changes 2 or 3 times. He may not have received any formal education. Sorry for the interruption. However, he may not have received any formal education, but he quotes Sanskrit and the scriptures extensively, and was fully conversant with the Hindu epics, mythology. He claims the knowledge from an earlier rishi incarnation, which who used to comes back to him only when he was in trance, and train him and teach him with the all ancient scriptures, ancient languages. Even the skeptic would concede he is a master. He was a master ventriloquist. My friend, what he says warms the hearts. He warms the hearts of his audiences. In one of the tapes, he said that the Narantak, the son of Ravan, and Ghatotchak, the son of Bhim, they had machines that took them to moon. Also television. Lord Krishna endowed the blind Dhritarashtra with inner vision, and he could see the battle between the Kauravas and Pandavas as clearly as in the modern days serial Mahabharata on Doordarshan. He had his own interpretation of Ramayana and Mahabharata, absolutely different. And he says in one of his tapes, in one of his pravachans I heard, he said that the wicked pundits were employed to malign the characters, these two characters in these two epics. He claimed that Kumbhakarna did not sleep for 6 months like the other members of family members of the Ravana's family. He was highly learned man, trained in the science of weaponry and nuclear warfare by Maharishi, none other than Maharishi Bhardwaj. As per him, Maharishi Bhardwaj was the greatest scientist of all times. Maharishi Bhardwaj has built a large laboratory in Himachal Pradesh, in Himalayas, where he used to carry on his research for 6 months, and 6 months is to get down from the Himalayas for preaching and meeting the kings and queens and deliver his sermons or bless them. My friend, among this group, Krishna Datta's followers were doctors. He showed me a newspaper cuttings, amazing, lawyers, professors, very learned people, politicians, and that baffled me. Because of his following, the thought comes to mind, who the hell I am to question their conviction. So much so about my exposure to occult sciences. You all may have your own stories. Give it a thought, how far we must believe in this and how truthful it is. There was even in the latest I was hearing a video sent by somebody of Sadhguru in modern days. He was telling that the occult sciences, tantric vidya, they can still in India there are sages, there are people who can bring life to a dead bird within 3 hours if it's brought to them. He also claimed that their gurus, they can make the dead man walk and live for some time, bring life back again. Amazing. But that's what the tantric and vidya and the occult sciences is. Thank you very much.